don't need a high-end designer or a lot of money to get a luxe look. Be your own interior designer.
This is Affordable Interior Design, the podcast.
Here's your host, Betsy Helmuth.
All right, without further ado, let me read Ghani's question from Israel. Ghani writes, "Hi, Betsy. I love your show and I listen to every episode. Your advice seems so commonsensical and it seems so obvious until I actually try to implement it in my own space. Then, even after hours of listening, I still have no idea what to do. We recently renovated a 4-bedroom apartment in a suburb of Tel Aviv. I have no idea what to do about drapery. All of the windows except for the sliding glass doors in the living room have shutters. So I don't need curtains. I don't need blinds. I don't need privacy or to keep the sun out. I want drapes or curtains because it will make the apartment feel softer. It will make it feel put together. But in the 3 bedrooms, the windows are in the corners. And in the master bedroom, the 2 windows are different sizes. And in the living room kitchen area, the kitchen window is only a couple of feet from the glass doors. These are aluminum windows and the frames are flush with the walls, so all of the options have to go in front of the window frames. How do you match a window in the kitchen, which you said has to be wipeable, with curtains on sliding glass doors? How do you choose curtains for corner windows? One of the corner windows swings open, so blinds are out of the question. Do you put curtains behind a headboard? How do you hang curtains when one window is wider than the other and the other is taller than the other is wide? Any advice on where to start and some basic guidelines would be much appreciated. Please explain them as if you were talking to a small child. I feel that incompetent when choosing my curtains. Best, Ghani. P.S. Please excuse the mess. We moved in more than a little week ago and we haven't finished unpacking yet." No problem, Ghani. I can look past all the boxes, all the mess, and get straight to the heart of the problem. Guys, if you want to see Ghani's windows, if you want to see her newly moved in apartment, or newly renovated, I guess I should say, then you will want to head over to our YouTube channel. It's Affordable Interior Design by Uploft on YouTube. Once again, Affordable Interior Design by Uploft on YouTube. All right, Ghani, I'm going to scroll through your pictures while I answer your question. First things first, you don't need privacy. Some of these windows are hard to treat or difficult to have open with a treatment in place. I'm not seeing that corner window, which particularly intrigued me because that can have a whole host of challenges. But I am seeing the other windows, including the kitchen window, which is very close to the stove, including the bedroom windows, which are indeed different sizes, different heights. And so I am seeing some challenges. Let me kick it off by saying, if you have shutters in place, if you have blinds in place, you don't really need curtains. Curtains are very nice to have, but they are not a must-have, right? There are lots of ways to warm up a space that do not involve curtains because you have to measure for curtains. You have to have hardware for curtains. You want to make sure that the drapery fabric is not encroaching on your window. You want to make sure that it makes sense in the room that it's in. In other words, if it's too close to the stove, they're going to get greasy and gunky and may even be a fire hazard, right? So there's a whole host of reasons why you want to critically analyze your desire for drapes. Let's first off talk about a different solution for warming up these spaces. All the rooms right now appear to have the same color of kind of gray beige on the walls. I think that's a missed opportunity to warm up this space. One way to warm up a space that's going to be even more impactful than curtains is wall color. You have a lot more wall than you'll have drapery. And of course, using a warmish tone, whether it's a yellow or a coral or a blush, right? Or even something that feels warm like a green, where it's typically classified as a cool color, but you could choose one that has a little bit more yellow and that feels a little bit warmer than, say, its bluish or even silvery sage counterparts. That would be one way to warm up the room. Another way is with different textiles. So if you had a really delicious rug in this room, right now it looks like you have some acrylic or I'm not sure, some kind of foam tiles. But if you replaced that with a really nice rug that had a significant pile of 0.25 to zero point 0.5, that's in inches, I think it would really make this room feel softer, more inviting in terms of the living room. Then, of course, you could add a throw blanket to the sofa. You could layer it with pillows that have different colors. Instead of doing your wooden dining chairs, I might suggest ones that have upholstery. So that way you're softening the room, adding in maybe some warmer colors, but in a different way. For the bedroom, you would again rely on those textiles by getting a really sumptuous snuggly duvet, maybe with a beautiful throw blanket at the foot of the bed, maybe some decorative pillows, again, factoring in that wall paint. And then, of course, art is a wonderful way to bring in warmer colors. Instead of choosing things that have a lot of harsh linear lines, you may want to pick artwork or even patterns on your fabrics that have curving lines. That will certainly soften the space. And then another amazing way to soften a space that feels harsh, cold, unrelenting is to put all the overhead lights on full range dimmers, because then you can kind of control the lighting experience and the atmosphere. Additionally, having multiple lamps throughout the room will allow you to control the atmosphere as well. Make sure that you have a bulb that leans towards that warmer kind of white or yellow white rather than the kind of blue white or intense bright white. That will also help a lot because, Gani, you do have a lot of challenges with window treatments. And I could certainly help guide you in terms of that living room slider. You could do an inside mount rod, sort of like you'd see in a shower curtain or on a closet rod, where it's touching both side walls because there is no back wall from which brackets could extend. But you're going to need a lot of fabric because you need double the width of drapery that you have width of window. And this is a very big slider. Additionally, when you push all that fabric to the side, you're going to lose quite a bit of your window, of this sliding glass door window, I'm calling it, because there's no wall for that fabric to gather on. So it's just going to block your view. For these reasons and so many more, Gani, I think drapery, curtains in general, are a goner for you. Let it go and decide to soften the room in other ways. If you take all my advice and add the additional textiles, change out the chairs, shake up the wall color, put all the lighting on dimmers, and it's still feeling cold and sterile, write me back. There may be other solutions, or we can go there with some curtains. But I would definitely save that as a last resort. A big thank you to Aton and the Embassy, who wrote our theme song. A shout out to Catherine Heller, who owns the podcast shop and is our editor extraordinaire. We also want to thank Ginny Sunasan and her team at the Savvy Podcast Agency for their help with our social, our YouTube channel, and so much more. We also want to thank Uploft, which is our parent company who supports this podcast. And lastly, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to you. Thank you so much for tuning in and for all your support.